Okay, so thank you so much. We would like to extend this gratitude to our sponsors who constantly bring these programs for us. We have Chanti Gem, we have Mapicon Pest Control, First Park Homes, Durabil Realty and Development Corporation, Davis Paint Reinvented, Bria, EGI, Eganzon Incorporated, SMDC, and Houselands and Golden Haven Memorial Parks. For the introduction of our national officers, okay, so we extend this invitation to all of our friends out there who is watching right now to be part of the National Real Estate Incorporated. Be a member and join us now, and all the links are here for you to keep in touch. Membership for corporate members are at the rate of 10,200, and for individuals at the rate of 1,200. We also encourage our salespersons, accredited salespersons, to join us and enjoy the benefits that we can get from the organization. Okay, for the house rules, just remember to kindly mute your microphone so that we get the full benefit of our speaker's presentation. Please turn off your camera if necessary so that you get the best part of your internet connection. So only the MCs and moderators, officers and speakers are allowed to use the microphone and camera. Type your questions in the chat box. Okay, so the moderators will assess and handle the questions after all the speakers have spoken. For the welcome remarks, of course, we have we are privileged to have our speaker for today, and to give us a guideline on how we go about with this business forum online, we will have our national president to welcome us, Ms. Ruth Marie Atienza.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Alma. A pleasant good morning to one and all. We would like to acknowledge the presence of our speaker, Mr. Andres Bizares, Sir Andre, the Chief of Assessment Section of RDO 30 of the Bureau of Internal Revenue, or the BIR for short, who is truly an expert on our topic for this morning. I'm so excited to hear his talk. As sa dry run pa lang, it was really a very enjoyable learning experience. To join him during the open forum is Ma'am Floridette A. Cuales, Chief of Assessment Performance Monitoring Division of the BIR. Our distinguished moderator, Mr. Bansan C. Choa, CPA, who is currently one of NREA's very active Board of Advisors and the Chairman of Surewell Equities as well. We acknowledge also the presence of our NREA officers and trustees, led by Chair Lady Madam Imelda Magtoto. Officers and members from the different chapters nationwide, our sponsors, guests, and participants. The National Real Estate Association, or NREA, the one-stop trade organization, warmly welcomes you to the third online business forum for this year, with the theme, Elevating Real Estate Taxpayers' Experience. The theme may be quite broad, but we assure you that this forum will truly be an interesting discussion, relevant not only to real estate practitioners, but also to the allied professions. In spite of this being the peak of the tax season, we are privileged that our speaker has generously given his time to share his expertise on taxation issues related to the transfer of property, as well as update us on related regulations and initiatives. NRIA's advocacy and battle cry for the year is digitalization. Hopefully, time will allow us to learn about BIR's initiatives with regard to this as a tool for transparency and a faster, more efficient system that is less prone to under-the-table deals. Should we lack the time, we shall request for another session on this. Without much further ado, I welcome everyone to this business forum. Magandang umaga.
Thank you. Thank you to our national president, Ms. Ruth Marie C. Atienza. Indeed, we are very excited to learn from this business forum and to understand where we are with our obligations and responsibilities towards our country. We have been privileged to have a speaker from the Bureau of Internal Revenue. He will be introduced to you to the topic and speaker, as well as to his expertise by our board vice chairman, Architect Ronnie B. Diando.
Thank you, National Trustee, Ms. Alma Grace Sara, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So, our esteemed resource person today has more than 20 years experience as a certified public accountant, specializing in tax accounting and auditing. He is currently the chief of the assessment section of BIR RDO 30, Binondo, Manila. Prior to working with RDO 30, he has been assigned in different RDOs as revenue officer, such as RDO 31 Santa Cruz and RDO 32 Quiapo. He obtained his bachelor's degree in accountancy at the Divine Word College of Bangued and his master's in business administration at Cavite State University in Indang, Cavite. He has been a recipient of various awards, including the Rank 5 Revenue Officer Performer in 2019 and Top 1 Performer as Revenue Officer for 2020 and 2021. All given by the Regional Praise Committee, RR6 Manila. Among his major competencies include Philippine taxation and its implementing rules and regulations, tax audit and investigation, and BIR online systems. His subspecialization include preparation of statement of assets, liabilities, and net worth for government employees and officials, financial literacy, and setting up a business. Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to present to you our special guest and resource person for April NRIA Business Forum Online. Let's all give a hand to Mr. Andres Bizares.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. So thank you for having me. So let me just fix my slides for a while. I think all set. Okay, so once again, so good morning, everyone. So thank you for having me and allowing me to share ideas with you. So since we only have minimal time, so let's start right away. Okay, so my presentation for this morning will be focusing on three main topics. So the first, we have the key tax issues in transferring real properties in the Philippines. So I will briefly discuss how to file and pay the applicable taxes related to the transfer of real properties, and also some identified related problems, how to resolve them, and to expedite the issuance of certificate authorizing registration by the BIR. So basically, it will be a crash course on the transfer of real property. So we will be focusing on transfer of real property for now. Okay, next, of course, is the BIRDX programs, or the digital transformation programs of the Bureau. No, so I will simplify these programs, And these programs developed by the Bureau is basically to simplify the processes of the Bureau using the digital platforms. Okay, so I will also give a quick demo of the latest app developed for processing transfers of real properties if we have enough time later on. Third, of course, is the tax updates. So I will also discuss briefly, okay, the latest tax issuances and regulatory tax changes in 2022 and 2023. Okay, so let's dive immediately on the details of these three main topics. So first, we have the key tax issues on the transfer of real properties. But before I discuss the details of these, let me discuss two important concepts to help you easily understand the tax implications of the three ways on transferring properties. So basically, the first part will focus on the ways of transferring properties, specifically on the sale of a real property. Second, donation, and of course, inheritance. Okay, so these are the three ways actually to transfer real properties. So either of the three, so we will discuss the details of all those things later on. Okay, so all of the three ways to transfer real properties. So let me just give you the two important concepts, okay, related to the transfer of property. So we need to understand some technical terms and their meaning in taxation. So what are the two important concepts that we need to understand? So first, of course, is the concept of the real property versus personal property. So when dealing with the taxation, no, so there is this specific meanings of these words when you encounter them. Okay, so first we have the real property. So pag sinabi nating real property in taxation, we are referring to immovable properties. So these are just quick definitions for you to be able to understand kung ano yung pag-uusapan natin mamaya. So pag sinabi kong real property, I'm referring to immovable properties. So anything fixed to the ground, okay? So I am referring to the land and of course yung mga buildings, okay? Next, we have the personal property. So pag personal property, we are referring to movable properties, so meaning transferable, anything transferable, okay? So movable properties just like cars and so on. This includes also intangibles, no? When we say tangibles, intangibles, these properties have no physical characteristics and just represented by proof of ownership such as stock certificates, okay? So these two terms are, we will encounter these terms all throughout our discussion later on. So take note of these specific definitions. Another important concept is, of course, the meaning of capital asset and ordinary asset. So for more details about it, you can always access yung Revenue Regulation 7-2003. Okay? So ano po bang ibig sabihin ng ordinary asset? So here are some, so I will just give you some quick guides to properly determine the correct classification of the property. So bakit importante? So why is it important to know the classification of the property? First, of course, is to file the correct tax types that need to be paid. Kasi sometimes nagkakaroon tayo ng problema dun sa wrong tax type. So we need to understand kung ano ba dapat ang tax type na babayaran mo kung capital asset ang ita-transfer mo, and of course, kung capital asset siya. Another reason, okay, in knowing this is of course to determine the if the transfer is subject to VAT or not. Okay, so this is very material, no? Kasi dito natin malalaman kung subject ba talaga sa VAT o hindi. Okay, so next na gagawin natin is of course I will present to you the quick guide, okay, on how to properly determine the correct classification of the property. So for ordinary asset, okay, so it is classified as ordinary if that property is held for sale. So it's really intended for sale, that's one. Next is of course held for use in business. So ginagamit ba yan sa negosyo? Okay? And the third, of course, is the taxpayer is engaged in real estate business. So ano po ba yung sinasabi or kina-consider ni BIR na considered engaged in real estate business? So basically, there are three categories of these. Okay, so first, property dealer. If you are engaged in the buy and sell of real properties, then considered as ordinary and you are engaged in real estate business. Another one is, of course, if you're a lessor, no? Kung nagpapaupa po tayo, then that is classified as real estate business. And all properties handled or owned by a lessor are considered ordinary asset. Third, developers. So all properties owned by these three classifications of taxpayers engaged in real business, lahat ng pag-aari nila or under their name are all considered as ordinary asset. Okay? Next, taxpayers habitually engaged in real estate business. So ibig sabihin, kahit wala kang registered business, but you are habitually engaged in the real estate business, especially in dealing properties, no? So our criteria here for you to be classified as habitual engaged is, of course, you have at least 6 transactions in the previous year. Kaya kung meron ka ng 6 na transactions, no, dealing with properties, okay, you are now considered as habitual engaged, and all properties, okay, after that will now be considered as ordinary asset. So how about capital? So ano naman yung mga properties under capital asset? So lahat ng kabaliktaran ng binanggit ko kanina, if they are not included in the previous definitions na nabanggit ko kanina, are all capital assets. Simply, these are not used in business and these are not really intended. These properties are not really intended for sale. So those are the quick guides on how to classify properties, whether they are capital asset or ordinary asset. So those two concepts are very important para at least mas madali yung pagkaintindi nyo later on doon sa mga susunod na topics natin. Okay? So there are 3 ways to transfer properties. First, through sale. Okay? Pag sinabi nating sale, other term that you will encounter with the tax codes or the BIR regulations, we are referring to the onerous transfer. Pag sinabi nating onerous transfer, we are referring to transactions with consideration. Ibig sabihin may kapalit. So, ang kasama dito, sale, barter, or exchange, basta may consideration or may kapalit for transferring the property, then that is considered under this category. Okay? And of course, it is covered by deed of absolute sale. Ayan yung proof of the transaction. Second, of course, now, if you want to know more about the details of this, yung mga related issuances, you can always download our Revenue Regulations 2-98, 6-2001, 7-2003, and RR 30-2003. The third way to transfer properties, of course, is through donation. Okay? So, pag donation ang pag-uusapan, ang technical term namin sa taxation is the gratuitous transfer, or sometimes referred to as donation inter vivos. So if you want to know more about this, you can always download RR2 Revenue Regulations 12-2018. Okay, so what's the difference between donation and sale? So dito sa donation, there's no consideration involved. So walang kapalit, so given freely, okay, to the transferee. Okay. So another one that is under donation is, of course, renunciation of inheritance. Diba? There are times may mana tayo, pero ayaw na nating makipag-participate dun sa sharing. Okay? So ano ba ang nasusulat tungkol dito? Okay? Anong batas natin tungkol dyan? You can always access the Revenue Memorandum Circular 94-2021. I provided all the reading materials or the references para at least may quick guide kayo if you want to know more about the details of these things. So when it comes to renunciation of inheritance or simply waiver of rights na sinasabi, no? Ayaw mo nang tanggapin yung mana mo, so i-waive mo na lang. So ano ba yung mga possible scenarios when it comes to donation? Diba? Meron tayong tinatawag na general renunciation or general waiver. So ano ba ang tax implication nito? Pag general, ibig sabihin, wala kang pinapaboran doon sa mga other heirs, okay? O kaya specifically hindi mo na sinabi kung kanino mapupunta yung share mo, di ba? So if that is the case, general renunciation ang tawag natin dyan, and that is not subject to donor's tax. So always remember that. Okay? Next category is, of course, the specific or partial renunciation. So meaning to say, hindi lahat ng mga properties winave mo yung rights mo. So meaning to say, partial renunciation yon. O kaya, binanggit mo kung kanin mo specifically ibibigay yung share mo to the disadvantage of the other heirs. So meaning to say, ibibigay mo lang sa, say for example, 3 kayong heirs, ibibigay mo lang sa isa yung share mo. Okay? So specific or that this is under this category, specific or partial renunciation. If that is the case, that is taxable. Third, renunciation of conjugal share. There are instances where the property to be transferred is conjugal or communal property, di ba? So kung conjugal or communal property siya, of course, the renunciation of the conjugal share is subject to tax. Ang pinag-usapan natin kanina is just the inheritance, yung mana. Dito naman, since if for example, yung asawa niya is still a survivor, no? Buhay pa naman, pagkasama yun sa waiver, definitely it is subject to tax. And of course, another issue that you will encounter when it comes to donation is of course the VAT on donation. Subject ba sa VAT ang properties donated? Okay, so under RR 1605, it is taxable if the property is originally intended for sale or yung sinasabi ko sa kanina na ordinary asset. So only ordinary assets are subject to VAT, but capital assets are not subject to VAT. Okay, that's the general rule. Okay, and the third way to transfer properties is of course through inheritance. Ayan, so sometimes referred to under the code as donation mortis causa. So anong difference ng inheritance sa donation? So ang donation, the property or the ownership is transferred during the lifetime. So habang buhay pa yung donor or the transferor. In the case of inheritance, no, kaya mortis causa ang tawag, it's because the ownership will take effect, the transfer of ownership will take effect upon death. So kahit na transfer na yung possession of the property, but the ownership will be transferred upon death, that is subject to that is covered under this category, and the tax of course is the estate tax, which I will discuss later on briefly. And of course the one who will handle this, kasi patay na yung may-ari, di ba? So meron tayong tinatawag na executor or administrator. So executor is for inheritance na meron siyang last will and testament. So it was specifically stated in the will kung sino yung maghahandle ng distribution of the properties and of course the payment of the related taxes. And how about yung administrator? Ito naman yung mga appointed by court, no? Kung settled judicially yung settlement of the estate, administrator naman ang tawag. Pero kung wala yung executor or administrator, it will be handled by one of the heirs. Okay? And the document to prove as proof of the transaction of proof of inheritance, of course, is the deed of extrajudicial adjudication, or if it is settled judicially, of course, the judicial settlement or the last will and testament, kung meron man yan. Okay? Ayan. So related issuances for this is RR 12-2018. So halos sabay ito doon sa donation, pareho yung reference natin. Kaya if you want to get hold of a copy of this one, just download it dun sa website namin. Okay? Now, for the basic requirements, so what I'm going to discuss with you are just the basic requirements of those three that I mentioned a while ago. So, of course, there are mandatory requirements. You don't forget about it. Kasi yung mga mandatory requirements for us to process your application later on. I'm going to discuss to you the basic requirements for now. First, of course, the notarized deed of sale or the deed of donation or the deed of succession. It's either judicially or extrajudicial settlement. So this is very important kasi this will help us determine kung ano yung applicable taxes, kailan yung due dates. Okay? Mag-i-impose na ba kami ng penalty o hindi? That's why you need to take note of these things. Second, of course, is the TIN or the tax identification number and the registration details of the parties. So these are very important. Whenever you initiate transactions, okay, are related to the transfer of real properties, agents or the one who will handle all these transactions must take note of the tax identification number. Lahat kailangan kuhanan natin ng tax identification numbers lahat ng parties. And also, not only that, you need to check the registration details. this is very important in order not to delay the issuance of e-car. So there are several issues that you may encounter when dealing with these things. That's why I will just quickly identify and help you resolve some of the issues. So una would be wrong TIN or no TIN. Okay? So anong dapat gawin? Kung wrong TIN o kaya no TIN yung mga registered parties, of course you have, or of the parties, I mean, you need to secure one. So the BIR Form 1904, you can always download it dun sa website namin. Okay, the BIR Form 1904 kung wala pang na-issuing TIN. But there are times, may mga empleyado na, so na-issuehan na yan. And of course, yung mga business TIN. Diba? Meron na rin yan. So, just accomplish the BIR Form 1904 and have it verified to any BIR offices para masabi po. Now, once you check the tax identification number, assuming tama naman, meron naman talaga siyang TIN. The next thing na titignan ninyo is of course the registration details. So baka tama ba yung pangalan, di ba? Baka may mali, baka may error. So before doing that, before start processing, make sure to correct whatever discrepancies na ma-discover nyo during the TIN verification. Why it matters? Kasi kung ano ang nakalagay dun sa registration database namin, yun po ang magpapakita sa certificate authorizing registration. Kaya hindi po namin pwedeng gayahin kung ano ang nandun sa deed of sale or deed of donation or extrajudicial. Ang masusunod, syempre, TIN-based po ang BIR. So, just in case, okay, na meron kayong ma-discover na registration details ay na the registration discrepancies, please settle those things before initiating transactions, okay, related to real property. And what if? Another issue is it was issued from other district offices. O diba, na-issue sana napakalayong lugar and there's no way for you to update it. So ano yung mga possible remedies? Now, it depends on the nature of the TIN or the tax identification issued. So there are three classifications actually. Meron tayong tinatawag na business TIN kung may negosyo ka, employee TIN kung empleyado ka, or EU98 kung nag-avail ka lang ng TIN pero wala kang negosyo at hindi ka empleyado at the same time. Ang tawag namin doon is EU98. Okay? So when it comes to employee and EU98, madali lang namin i-transfer. Kahit doon na kung saan mo gusto ilipat, pwede ka nang pumunta. The only exception or the limitation that we have is kung business TIN ang hawak mo. Kasi the taxpayer should be the one to request for the transfer kasi kailangan ng clearance doon sa home RDO. So I repeat, pag employee o kaya EU98 yung TIN ng parties, madali lang po naming hugutin. Okay? Kung saan mo gusto ilipat, pwede ka nang dumiretso. Huwag ka nang pumunta doon sa issuing RDO. Pero kung business din yan, I need to reiterate na it must be the taxpayer who will handle the transfer. Okay? Next, another issue that you will discover when it comes to TIN and registration details is of course correct TIN but with registration detail discrepancies. So ito na nga yung sinabi ko kanina. So paano mo gawin kung sakali you want to correct the discrepancies in the registration? Of course, you need to accomplish the BIR Form 1905. Okay? Kung gusto nyong i-correct yung details na nandoon sa database namin, you can always do that by filling out the form 1905. Next, another basic requirement is of course the tax declaration and title of the property. So that will all depend on the nature of the transaction. Anong tax deck ba ang kukunin ko? O, di ba? So first, sale or donation. Ang kukunin mo na tax declaration should be as of the date of the deed. Kung kailan mo in-execute yung transaction, yun po ang kukunin mo. Okay, kung ngayon lang na-execute yan, it should be the latest. Pero kung matagal na yung document mo, you should take note of the date at yun po ang ipipresent mo sa BIR when it comes to sale and donation. How about when it comes to inheritance? It should be as of the date of death. Yan po ang tax declaration na ibibigay natin sa BIR kung mana yung property. Okay? It should always be as of the date of death para hindi po tayo pabalik-balik. Now, let me briefly discuss kung paano i-present or paano mag-file, saan mag-file, ano ang dapat i-file, at kailan. So this is a quick summary, okay, of the three ways of transferring properties para at least alam nyo kung saan at hindi tayo kung saan-saang BIR office pumunta when it comes to transfer of real properties. First, let's discuss sale. Okay, so onerous transfer of property. Ang nasusunod po dyan is of course the location of the property. So pupunta po kayo sa BIR na may jurisdiction doon sa location of the property. At anong tax ang babayaran? So it depends on the classification of the property. So first, it's either be capital asset or ordinary asset. Kaya pag capital asset yan, you have to pay capital gains tax at 6%. And of course, the related DST or documentary stamp tax, which is 1.5%. And how about if it is an ordinary asset? So ordinary asset is subject to ordinary income and therefore subject to expanded withholding tax. Now, the expanded withholding tax rates, we have 4 under the code. So we have the 1.5%, 3%, 5%, and 6%. It depends on the proceeds or the total selling price or contract price of the property being transferred. So depende po yan. So 1.5, the lower the selling price or the contract price, the lower the EWT or the expanded withholding tax rate. And of course, just like capital asset, meron din siyang DST, pareho lamang, which is at 1.5%. At kailan ang deadline? So when it comes to capital gains tax, that is the BIR from 1706, the deadline is always the 30th day, okay, after the execution date of the deed of sale. Next, we have the expanded withholding tax. Since this is in the nature of creditable withholding, the form to be used is form BIR from 1606, and the deadline is the 10th day of the following month. Okay, and of course the DST, the deadline is always the 5th day of the following month, yung susunod na buwan. Okay, so I hope you got that. Next, we have donation naman. So pagdating sa donation, the situs of taxation, pag sinabi nating situs of taxation, saan ka dapat mag-file? Okay, so for donation or donors, donated properties, ang nasusunod po dyan is the residence or domicile of the donor. Diba? Doon po tayo mag-file. Hindi po kung saan na-issue yung TIN niya, doon po sa domicile or residence of the donor. Yan po ang nasusulat. And of course, the related taxes for donation is the donor's tax, which is 6%, and documentary stamp tax of 1.5% when it comes to real property. And the deadline in filing those two returns, donor's tax, use the BIR form 1800, and the deadline is always the 30th day, okay, after the execution date of the deed of donation. And the related documentary stamp tax by using form 2000 OT. Anong ibig sabihin ng OT? This is for one-time transaction. Kasi yung pagbebenta or pagdo-donate, ang tawag namin dyan, O-net transactions. Okay, ma-encounter nyo mamaya. Okay, so lahat yan, sale, donation, and inheritance are under one-time transactions category of the Bureau kasi hindi siya regular taxes na laging binabayaran. Okay? So next, the third category is the inheritance, okay? Or judicial or extrajudicial settlement of properties. So ang nasusunod po dito is the residence or domicile of the decedent, yung namatay. Kung saan yung last residence niya, doon po. E paano kung wala siyang local residence? Ang next priority natin is of course the address of the administrator or executor. Kung wala talaga, wala siyang address dito sa Pilipinas, wala ding executor, wala ding administrator, doon po tayo sa RDO 39, Quezon City, yun po, doon po nagpa-file ng mga non-resident alien or non-resident citizens or non-resident aliens na mga taxpayers. Okay, so what are the related taxes related to inheritance? Of course, the estate tax. So in the estate tax, wala po siyang DST, okay? Estate tax lang na 6%. You will notice na dun sa tatlo, sale, donation, and inheritance, fixed na po lahat yung rate at 6%. So simplified na po lahat yung rate natin. Capital gains tax is 6, donor's tax is 6, and estate tax is 6. Okay, pare-pareho na po yung mga rates that effective January 1, 2018 under the train package, di ba? Under the train law na po yan. So simplified na po yung tax system natin when it comes to one-time transactions. And of course, the deadline for the filing of the estate tax, the BIR Form 1801 is 1 year. Although you can request for extension, but before the filing, request for extension for another 30 days. Kung nahihirapan po kayong mag-determine kung ilan talaga yung mga properties ng namatay, okay, you can always do that. Okay, you can extend for another 30 days kung sakali. So 1 year na po yan, since masalimuot po yung pag-process ng properties ng namatay, mas matagal po yung time or your period for us to file. Okay? Next, there are some issues that we will discuss related to sale of real property para at least mapadali yung buhay natin when dealing with these transactions. There are two important concepts na gusto ko ulit i-discuss sa inyo. Okay, ito po yung tinatawag nating deferred sale and installment sale. Ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng deferred sale and installment sale pagdating sa transfer of real properties? So, although the real intention is really under the installment plan and these transactions are usually covered by contract to sell, okay, there are two categories. Paano natin ma-determine kung though under installment plan siya pareho, pero ano ba ang kinaklasify natin as deferred sale and installment sale? Pareho sila under installment plan po ha, pero meron tayong tinatawag na deferred sale and installment sale. So kailan masasabi na deferred sale, kailan masasabi na installment sale? So the rule here to be applied is the 25% rule. Saan natin i-apply yung 25% rule? On the installment plan on the sale of real property. So first, we have the initial payment. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng initial payment? Di ba meron tayong schedule of payment when it comes to property sold on installment? So yung initial payment, this includes yung down payment at saka yung total subsequent payments in the year of the execution of the contract to sell. So kung kailan pinirmahan yung contract to sell, kunin mo lahat yung down payment plus the succeeding payment within the same year, no? Within the year kung kailan mo in-execute yung contract to sell, yan po ang initial payment na tinatawag. So dyan mo po makukuha or i-apply yung 25% rule. Okay? So if the deferred sale siya, if the initial payment exceeds 25%, installment sale siya kung less than that. Now, kailan ba i-withhold yung withholding tax kung deferred sale? Kailan ang due date? Okay? The tax must be withheld on the first installment payment. Kaya pag nakita mo na yung initial payment niya exceeds 25%, magjuju na kaagad yung capital o yung expanded withholding tax niya 30 days or 10th day, 10th day of the following month. Okay? Kasi ang date of withholding mo should be the first installment and it must be remitted 10th day of the following month. Okay? E paano naman kung ang initial payment mo does not exceed 25%? Ang tawag natin dyan, installment sale. So, kung ang initial mo does not exceed 25, installment po yan. So, paano naman ang withholding of the tax? The withholding of the tax will be on the last installment payment. So, pag deferred sale, first installment, pero pag installment sale, okay? Doon sa last installment. Pero dalawa ang dapat nating intindihin when it comes to installment sale, ha? Next na i-determine natin is, of course, sino ba ang buyer natin? May negosyo ba o wala? Kung may negosyo yan, that's under the next category. So, let me qualify, no? Balikan ko lang. So, pag installment sale, ang next na tanong dyan is, sino ba ang buyer ko? May business ba o wala? Kung walang negosyo, the withholding tax must be withheld on the last installment payment. Pero, kung ang buyer natin ay may negosyo, it must be proportionately withheld every installment payment. Okay? That should be every, not very, sorry. I will just correct it later on. So proportionately every installment payment. Ganyan po ang nasusulat when it comes to installment sale. And if you need more resources or references, you can always download the Revenue Regulation 17-2003 on this one. So I know it's a bit confusing, but you can always go back to this revenue regulation during your free time, okay? And of course, the related DST. So pag nagbenta tayo ng installment payment, so ito yung mga nakaka-encounter ito mga developers usually, no? So kailan ba magbabayad ng donor ng DST or documentary stamp tax when it comes to properties sold on installment? The due date is based on the notarization date of the deed of absolute sale. Hindi po yung contract to sell ang nasusunod. It should be the notarization date of the deed of absolute sale. So kailan na notarized yan? 5th day of the following month ang deadline. Another issue is on the valuation. So say for example na taon na nung 'di ba nung in-execute mo yung contract to sell masyadong matagal na. Tapos nung nag-execute ka ng final deed of sale or yung deed of absolute sale, nagbago na yung zonal value ng district na may location na may jurisdiction doon sa property na binenta mo. Ano ba ang basis? Ano ang reference natin when it comes to valuation? Is it the date of the contract to sell or the date of the deed of absolute sale? Under the rules, when it comes to valuation of properties covered with contract to sell, ang nasusunod po dyan is the execution date of the contract to sell, not the date of the deed of absolute sale. Okay? So, take note of this one kasi dito po nakukonfuse yung mga taxpayers natin and some, even the processors of the Bureau na intindihan ko rin naman, especially for our new revenue officers. But at least, that's why I'm telling you this kasi regular nyo na pong ginagawa, at least maabisuhan din natin yung mga bagong mga revenue officers natin kung sakali man na mali yung masabi nila sa atin. Okay? Next, another issue related to sale of real property is of course exceptions to the 6% capital gains tax. May mga transactions ba na exempt talaga sa capital gains? Of course there are. Okay? So one of these is of course the alternative taxation rule or the option of at the option of the taxpayer. Saan ba ina-apply yung alternative taxation rule na ito? So this is for transactions na one of the parties is a government. 'Di ba yung mga expropriation activities ng gobyerno, 'di ba? Yung nadadaanan ng mga priority projects of the government. Usually, ito yung mga kasama diyan. So 'di ba, whether you like it or not, bibilhin ng gobyerno 'yan pag nadaanan, 'di ba? So dito ina-apply kasi there are instances na yung magbebenta possible kasi na malulugi siya, 'di ba? So, possible na yung presyo na ibibigay ng gobyerno to purchase the property or to acquire the property is lower than the current market rate. Or hindi naman kasi ang ganito namang ginagawa ng gobyerno, it should be acquired at the current market rate. But it's possible kasi nung in-acquire na niyan, in-acquire niya at a higher price. So it's possible na pwede siyang malugi, di ba? Though ang current price, for example, is 1 million, pero binili niya yan at 1.5, for example, no? So, the moment na binili ni gobyerno, assuming ang inoffer lang sa kanya 1 million, pero 1.5 talaga ang actual na bili niya, di ba lugi yung owner naman? Kaya, ina-apply itong alternative taxation rule para may option naman si seller dahil hindi naman voluntary sale ito, no? This is an involuntary sale. So bigyan dapat ng batas ang protection ng mga nagbebenta para at least maiwasan yung pagbayad ng mas malaking tax na lugi naman siya, 'di ba? So there are two options given to the taxpayer. So we have the 6% capital gains tax and the regular income tax, 'di ba? Kasi may exceptions tayo diyan. So 6%, ang 6% kasi is based on the gross selling price, no deductions, 'di ba? No deductions allowed kasi it's always based at gross amount. Pero yung regular income tax kasi may allowable deductions, tapos scheduler tax pa lalo na kung individual 'yan. Kaya binibigyan siya ng gobyerno para may option yung taxpayer not to pay excessive tax, no? Kaya binigyan siya ng option. Kaya ang tawag natin dyan, alternative taxation rule. So whichever, kung ano man ang gusto ng taxpayer, siya po ang masusunod. Ang condition lang, before you can apply this rule, is of course, the seller is an individual taxpayer, and of course, the buyer is the government. Now, when it comes to the documentary stamp tax on properties na in-expropriate ng gobyerno is of course based on the consideration paid, not on whichever is higher na regularly ginagamit natin. So, if one of the parties is the government, no, it should always be based on the consideration paid. Next, another issue are exemptions to the 6% capital gains tax under the NIRC. So dalawa po ang exemptions natin under the NIRC and then special laws, di ba? So meron tayo under the code mismo na exempt talaga. And what is that transaction under the code? First, we have the sale of principal residence, no? So kung nagbenta ka ng principal residence mo, under the code, it's possible na ma-exempt siya. Okay, it's possible. It's not absolute kasi may mga conditions for you to avail such exemption. So first, the seller must be a citizen of a resident alien. So pag sinabi nating citizen, whether resident or non-resident kasama. How about resident alien? Meaning, citizens of other countries pero residing in the Philippines. Kailan ba natin masasabi na resident ka in the Philippines? If you resided in the Philippines more than 180 days, then you are considered as resident na. Pero kung less than 180, non-resident ka pa lamang. Kaya ang kasama dito under yung exemption on the sale of principal residence, resident alien lamang. Next, proceeds are utilized to acquire a new principal residence. Kailangan yung pinagbentahan mo will be used to acquire your new principal residence. So ibig sabihin, dapat mauna yung bentahan bago yung bilihan ng bagong bahay. Okay? So that is a prerequisite in availing such exemption. Next, notify BIR within 30 days by filling out the BIR Form 1706 and of course the declaration of intent. Okay? So yan po ang attachment if you want to avail of this exemption. And of course, the reacquisition of new residents must be within 18 months. May period, may number of months for you to acquire it. Okay? Yung new residence mo. It must be within 18 months from the date of the sale. Okay? Kung beyond that, mafu-forfeit po yung exemption mo. And another one, the capital gains tax is held in escrow in favor of the government. So mag-create po kayo ng escrow account sa bangko. Okay? So the transferor or the seller and at the same time yung BIR. So kasama sila sa signatory. So yung escrow account na yan is in favor of the government. Kasi the moment na hindi ka nag-comply dun sa mga conditions na binanggit ko kanina, ifo-forfeit ng bangko yan in favor of the government. Next, avail only once every 10 years only. So once lang to na avail every 10 years. And of course, the sale must precede the acquisition of the new principal residence. Yung sinabi ko kanina na hindi pwedeng mauna yung bilihan kaysa sa bentahan kasi ang rationale nito gagamitin mo yung pinagbentahan sa pagbili ng another or the new principal residence. Next, natapos na tayo dun sa exemption under the NIRC. Ito naman yung exemptions to the 6% capital gains tax under special laws. So what are the possible or what are the exemptions under special laws? First, sale of land pursuant to CARP, okay? Yung Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program. So if it is covered, yung pag-transfer mo ng property is covered by CARP, then it is exempt under the said special law. Next, we have the sale of socialized housing units, usually handled by the National Housing Authority, or those involved in developing locals housing, di ba? The only requirement basically is it must comply with the price ceiling and other special laws, no? May price ceiling tayo dyan and we need to comply. Okay? So those basically, those are the, that is for the topic number 1, which is a short crash course in transferring real properties. And I hope nakatulong ako at naliwanagan some of the issues related to the transfers of real properties. Next is the latest issuances and reminders and regulatory tax changes in 2022 and 2023. Okay, so we need to inform you about these things kasi this might affect your compliance with the Bureau of Internal Revenue. Okay, first we have the BIR digitalization programs, no? Ito yung mga pag sinabi DX programs ng BIR, okay? So pag sinabi namin DX programs, we are referring to the digital transformation programs being handled by the BIR in order to simplify our frontline services. So isasama ko na rin yung mga latest issuances natin and of course the reminders starting 2023. First, of course, we have the BIR digitalization program. So this is new, no? So I hope you will try to explore these online systems. We have the e-appointment system. So meron tayong e-appointment. So if you want to transact with us face-to-face and you don't want to go through yung pipila pa ulit sa long queue lines, no? You can use this app para i-book kung kailan ka pupunta and of course the time na pumunta ka sa BIR. Just make sure at least 10 minutes prior to your appointed time, dapat nandun po tayo para hindi na po tayo pipila sa BIR. Diba? So, ipakita lang po yung appointment mo, yung printed appointment, and then just present it to the revenue officer and then hindi ka napipila. Ipoprocess ka kaagad. Okay? Next, we have the ORUS or the online registration and update system. Ayan, so you can already transact with the BIR online, especially when it comes to registration, update of registration, books of accounts registration, and apply for authority to print, especially for developers, real estate dealers, and lessors. So you don't need to come to our offices to process these things. You can already access them through the ORUS system or the online registration and update system. So specifically, let me just give you briefly kung ano yung mga pwede natin gawin under the ORUS. So first, we have the registration of new business registrants. Okay, so for individual and non-individual, kaya na po ng system. So instead na pumunta ka sa BIR, you can use the online platform or the ORUS na sinasabi natin. So you can access them, yung mga issuances natin, under Revenue Memorandum Circular 122/2022 and 3/2023. Okay? Next, of course, is the secondary registration. Pag sinabi naming secondary registration, we are referring to the application of authority to print, the books of accounts, okay, of course, and yung mga, just in case you are planning to use yung mga computerized accounting systems, kailangan din i-register sa bureau, and also yung loose leaf. If you are planning to use those things, you can already apply them online using ORUS. And the third, of course, is the update. Kung gusto nyo mag-update, okay, online, you can also do that under the ORUS system. And of course, for employers naman, okay, for sa mga employer dyan, you can also, meron po tayong tinatawag na employer service link para at least yung mga employees ninyo under your jurisdiction, no, pwede nyo nang i-process. Pwede na kayo mag-apply ng team nila online. Okay, so those were basically the brief descriptions of the transactions that can be processed under the ORUS system. Next, of course, we have the filing and payment system. So I know you're very familiar with this already. So we have the EFPS, okay? So there are two online platforms that you can use to file and pay, okay, your taxes. We have the EFPS and the EBIR form system. So what's the difference between the two? So for EFPS filers, you will file and pay online. Okay? So filing and payment online na po pareho. But kailangan ng pre-registration. You need to register online sa BIR, and of course, you have to link your online banking. Kung ano po yung accredited bank nyo po, pwede nyo po i-link para at least diretso na po yung payment after filing the return. So that's the beauty of EFPS kasi you can file and pay anywhere basta meron po tayong internet connection. Now, the other one is the EBIR forms. Okay, so when it comes to EBIR forms, so eto naman, what's the difference between EBIR forms and EFPS? Sa EBIR forms, you can file online, but you have the option to pay online or manually. So, unlike sa EFPS, na everything is online. Everything is done online. Dito sa EBIR forms, you can file online, and then you have the option to either pay manually or pay online too. So ano yung mga online platforms for EBIR forms taxpayers? Okay? So ito, kasi sabi ko nga kanina, you have two options, no? Pay online by using the platforms na accredited sa amin. So we have the Land Bank, DBP, and the UBPay or the Union Bank platform. So these are the available platforms that you can use to pay your taxes. Next, if you still want to pay over the counter, of course, pwede pa rin. Using dun sa bangko, pwede. And of course, yung through the RCOs pala. So I forgot to include. Just in case na ayaw nyo nang pumunta sa bangko at nasa BIR offices na kayo, then you can always go to the revenue district officer, yung collection officer natin na naka-assign, and you can pay there. Okay? So either sa bangko or dun sa RCO na tinatawag namin, revenue collection officer. Okay? You can always do that. Another digital platform that our bureau developed, okay, in order to address and expedite the processes is, of course, we have the IRIS, or the Internal Revenue Integrated System. So this replaces the antiquated system of the bureau. Ito yung repository of all data and information of all our taxpayers. So nandito po lahat yung mga registration details. Ito na po yung repository natin sa lahat ng data and information when you transact with the BIR. So this is a comprehensive system, so it includes everything from registration up to closure and even the monitoring of your payment. So kasama na rin dyan yung mga ledger ng mga business taxpayers. So whenever you need to verify anything so about a certain person, basta qualified or allowed kayo by law, kung representative ka, dapat may SPA ka. Always remember that. Kung corporate naman ang nag-authorize sa inyo, make sure na meron kayong secretary certificate o kaya board reso para at least i-accommodate po tayo ni BIR. Okay? So whenever we transact with the bureau, always remember yung mga SPA natin if we are representing somebody. Always remember that we are covered by the Data Privacy Act. Okay? So hindi kami basta-basta nagbibigay ng data or information about a certain taxpayer kung unauthorized. Next, another platform is the EONet. Okay? Yung sinabi ko kanina, this is one of the best systems ever developed to process one-time transactions. Ito yung mga diniscuss natin kanina, no? Transfer of property, sale, barter, exchange, donation, and inheritance. Ito na po yung bagong system that you can explore in processing transfer of real properties. Okay? So initially, in the initial rollout, so ang kaya pa lang ng system for now is sale, barter, or exchange. So yung donation, pasunod na po, upcoming na po yung rollout namin on donation. Last is of course the inheritance. So in the coming months or years, perhaps mag-full blast na yung rollout natin sa lahat ng ONET transactions or one-time transactions, then mas mapagaan na ang buhay natin. But let's quickly discuss to all of you kung ano yung EONet, no? Ano ba yung EONet? This is basically a web-based platform that enables taxpayers to submit, to file and pay one-time transactions. So yung sinabi ko nga na sale, donation, and inheritance. So what are the advantages? Few advantages of using the EONet. So first, of course, the additional option for the taxpayer in transacting their one-time transaction. So meaning to say, you don't need to come to our offices to transfer properties. You can already transact with us via the EONet platform. Okay? For the meantime, this is just an option for you. Okay? You can explore it if you want. If you need guidance later on, you can always communicate with us. But if you have available time later on, I can do a quick demo. Okay? Next, reduce manual filing and returns and payment of taxes. So instead na pupunta kayo at pipila sa bangko, meron na ling online link, okay, for all the online platforms that you can avail to pay your one-time transaction taxes. And the third, of course, real-time monitoring of application status. Once you log into your dashboard, you can always monitor kung nasaan na yung application mo. Okay, namomonitor mo na kanino na ba? Is it for approval? Is it for payment? Or still under review? You don't need to call our offices about the status of your online applications. All you have to do is just download or log into your dashboard and that's it. Okay? Ayan. So if you have also comments or concerns, you can always utilize the chat box feature of the EONet system. O, di ba? Para kayong may private messaging feature din yung EONet natin para at least lahat ng mga personal concerns nyo, you can always communicate with the processor para mapabilis yung transaction natin. Of course, what are the related issuances about ONET? Okay, so just in case you want additional references, you can always download RMC 10-2023 and of course, RMC 23-2023. Okay, so these are the two latest issuances about ONET related transactions. So you can always access them using our through our website. Okay, so before I proceed to the tax update, I want to play a short video about the EONet for you to be guided kung ano talaga yung mga gawin or ano yung mga benefits, and of course a quick demo on how to avail of the said system. Okay, so just watch for a while. Okay, short video lang naman ito.
Kan. Paano klika?
Oh, sorry. Wala pala siyang audio. So let me just fix this. Okay. Okay, ulitin ko lang po. Okay, so that's it. So I hope you were able to watch this short video. At least meron tayong quick guide doon now. So after this meeting, no, you can always explore the EONet system by logging into or by download or by accessing it via our website. Okay, anybody can create an account. Okay, pwede nyo pong i-access yung EONet system natin and then download yung mga user manual natin, especially for the taxpayers manual, no? So para at least may guide po tayo on how to create accounts, how to use the system, and ano yung mga specific requirements in using the system. Okay, so we're down to our last topic, okay, which is the tax updates, latest issuances, reminders, and regulatory tax changes in 2022 and 2023. Okay, so ano ba yung mga bago? Okay, so first on the list is the new individual income tax rates. So sa mga individual taxpayers natin dyan, so usually ang affected dyan mga self-employed individuals. So for the real estate community, usually ang nasasakop dito yung mga sales agents natin, no? Mga lessors na registered, no, under the sole proprietorship type of business. Ayan. So bago na po yung income tax table natin. So ano ba nangyari? So basically bumaba po yung tax rate natin, no? This is effective January 1, 2023. Ayan. So under RR or Revenue Regulations 8-2018. Pero ang effectivity ng new individual tax table natin is January 1, 2023. So you will notice in the new tax table, no, bumaba po siya. So originally, nung 2018, the range is 20% to 35%. Dito sa new rate natin, starting January 1, 2023, magiging 15% to 35% na lamang po. Though the limit is still 35%, pero yung mga subsequent rates, okay, or tax bracket is already lower than the previously published rates nung start ng train law. Okay? So yan na po yung bagong rates natin. So don't worry guys, you will have a copy of my presentation and it will be given to you by our organizer. Next, we have another update for 2023 that you need to know is of course the reduced frequency of VAT return filing. So if you are a VAT taxpayer, di ba? I just want to, just a quick refresher, no? So generally, there are two classes of taxpayers, di ba? Meron tayong tinatawag na VAT taxpayer and non-VAT taxpayer, di ba? So kung ang gross sales mo does not exceed 3 million, you can register as a non-VAT taxpayer. Pero kung above 3 million ka na, then you are required mandatorily to register. Okay? You are required to register as a VAT taxpayer na. Okay, tanong, pwede ka ba mag-register as VAT kahit less than 3 million ang gross mo? Yes, ang tawag namin dyan, voluntary VAT registration. But take note, ano ang consequence for registering VAT? Okay, you cannot always go back to non-VAT status within the next 3 years unless you can prove na hindi mo na-meet yung 3 million threshold for the last 3 years. Okay? So yan lang ang consequence. Kaya before you register, you have to check yung registration nyo. Okay? Pero ang pino-point out ko lang dyan, kung sakali man na below 3 million ka, pero nag-register ka as VAT, okay? So you are not allowed to change your tax status within the next 3 years. Tapusin mo muna before you can return to the non-VAT status. Okay? So when it comes to VAT taxpayers naman, nagbago na kasi dati may monthly filing pa tayo. So effective July 1, 2023, which is under RMC 5-2023, natanggal na po yung monthly filing. Okay? Quarterly na lamang po siya. Pero tanong, can I pay voluntarily on a monthly basis? Yes, it's up to you. Pwede naman. Okay? So anyway, our monthly return is always available pa naman. You can still use that return to pay your monthly VAT kung sakali kasi mabigat din yung pagbabayad ng ano, 'di ba? Mabigat yung pagbabayad ng biglaan for the 3-month period, di ba? Mabigat sa bulsa kaya some taxpayers still request for to file their VAT returns in advance, no? Monthly ginagamit, pero that is still allowed naman. Okay? No problem. Next we have the so nawawala na siya, wala na yung monthly VAT natin. Ito dati yung dating form na ginagamit natin which is the BIR form 2550M. So this is no longer mandatory. But if you opt, sabi ko nga kanina, if you want to pay your VAT in advance, you can always use this. Now, just in case may na-encounter kayo na ayaw tanggapin ng bangko, you can always communicate with the bureau, no? So kami po tatawag dun sa bangko para tanggapin na lang yung VAT returns ninyo. But some naman, since nasabihan na namin, especially for banks under our jurisdiction, they were already informed that just in case taxpayers want to pay in advance, they can always do so. Okay, another update is, of course, the previously reduced rates will revert back to the original rates. So napansin nyo, no, during the pandemic, so some of the rates binabaan din just to para parang may breather sa mga taxpayers natin kasi lahat naman tayo pinagdaanan natin yung pandemic. Kaya during the pandemic period, binabaan yung mga rates natin. Okay? So, but starting July 1, 2023, babalik na po doon sa original rates. So ano-ano pa yung mga rates na magbabago effective July 1? So good thing, no, na pag-usapan natin lahat para baka mamaya mabigla kayo na July 1, 2023, bumalik na tayo doon sa original rates. So ano ba yung mga nagbago? So una, we have the minimum corporate income tax or the MCIT for corporate taxpayers. Dati 1% ang MCIT natin. Ngayon, babalik na tayo sa original rate, which is 2%. For percentage taxpayers, so during the pandemic, binabaan from 1%, pero ay binabaan from 3 to 1. Oh. So, but effective July 1, 2023, babalik na po tayo dun sa original rate, which is 3%. So, for non-VAT taxpayers out there, so please be reminded of this one. Next, we have proprietary educational institutions and hospitals. Dati binabaan din yan from 10 to 1, tapos babalik ulit tayo sa original rate effective July 1, 2023 to 10%. I mean, okay? Ayan. So yan po yung mga konting pagbabago. And of course, another reminder in 2023 is the extended deadline for the estate tax amnesty. Okay, so if you want to know more about the details of the estate tax amnesty, Revenue Regulation 17-21, you can always download this. So hanggang kailan yung extended deadline natin? It's June 14, no? June 14 daw. So nakita ko, no, na now tanong, possible, some of you will ask, is there another extension? Ganyan. So as per our discussion with our division chiefs, our top management, no? So sabi nila meron daw, no? There is a proposal, there is a proposed bill, no, extending the deadline of the estate tax amnesty. It's just a proposal, no, wala pa up to now. That's why we cannot tell you kung may possible extension. But since it is still a proposal, so I suggest that some of you who are still thinking kung mag-a-avail sila o hindi, kasi this is basically the last legislative amnesty that we have when it comes to processing or transfer of properties under inheritance, no? Kailangan i-avail na natin on or before June 14 kaysa maghabol tayo or mag-expect tayo ng deadline ulit, diba? So I'm suggesting everyone na i-beat na natin yung June 14. So file early. So wag na nating abot or antayin or mag-expect na may extension. But just in case lang na meron pa, no? Anyway, ang government naman natin, ang DOF and the BIR and of course our legislators will always find a way para at least mabigyan pa rin ng benefit yung mga hindi pa nakapag-file, di ba? Okay. So just a quick demo or a quick presentation on the estate tax amnesty. Ano bang benefits na makukuha natin dyan? So, but before that, no, let me just advise everyone na ang estate tax amnesty is for decedents from 2017 and prior years lamang. Kaya kung lahat ng namatay lamang from 2017 and prior years, okay? So, mataas kasi ang rate pa at that time, di ba? Starting the train, bumaba tayo, naging 6% na lang lahat. Pero, yung 2017 and prior years, old rate pa ang ginagamit. That's why pinalabas itong estate tax amnesty para at least to get rid of the of course, one of the benefits is to get rid of the penalties, no? So these are the privileges, okay, in availing the tax amnesty. Of course, the immunity from payment of all estate tax, including increments, so mawawala na lahat, okay? Wala ng penalty. Ang babayaran mo na lang, it's either the basic tax or the minimum na babanggitin ko mamaya. Next, we have the immunity from civil, criminal, or administrative cases. The moment na nag-avail kayo dito, since this is a legislative amnesty, so mawawala na po lahat, you will be immune from civil, criminal, and administrative cases. Hindi ka na pwedeng balikan ni BIR. That's the beauty, diba, of this amnesty. And next, we have the availment does not imply an admission of civil, criminal, and administrative liability. So the moment na nag-avail ka, hindi naman ibig sabihin na may kasalanan ka. No. That's one of the privileges of availing this amnesty program of the government. Okay? So how about the attachments? Ano ba yung mga mandatory attachments natin? So but before that, ito yung mga requirements na kailangan nating isubmit to the Bureau to signify our intention to avail of the said amnesty program. So first, we have the estate tax amnesty return or the ETAR. That's the BIR from 2118. That's EA. Ito yung attachment ng binanggit kong revenue regulation later kanina, no, previously. So you can always download it. Just fill out this form and then attach with it the acceptance payment form or the APF. That's the Series 621-EA. This is the payment form approved by the Bureau. Okay? So dalhin nyo po yung mga attachment yan na babanggitin ko mamaya. And of course, the deed of extrajudicial settlement. Ayan. So dadalhin natin lahat yan sa Bureau and then with the attachment. Usually, ano yung mga mandatory attachment natin dyan? Of course, the death certificate, the proof of ownership and valuation of assets, and the proof of claim deductions kung meron man. And very important, of course, tin-based po tayo. It's the tin of the estate. Hindi po tin ng namatay. Okay? Kukuhanan po natin, when it comes to inheritance, guys, always remember, it's not the tin of the decedent ang gagamitin natin for the transfer. It is the tin of the estate na naiwan. Okay? So, iba po yung tin ng namatay. So, ang gagawin namin doon, papatayin na namin siya kasi namatay na nga siya. We will issue another tin for the estate. Okay? And of course, the heirs. So, before processing yung inheritance or the transfer, paying the transfer taxes, okay? Kailangan may tin din yung mga heirs natin. Kukuhanan natin by accomplishing the BIR Form 1904. Para at least, when we issue the e-car later on, kompleto po at meron na po silang tax identification numbers at hindi ma-delay yung pag-issue ng certificate authorizing registration. Okay? So, saan ba dapat mag-file? So, domicile. The first priority, of course, the domicile of the decedent, yung namatay, kung saan yung last residence niya. Kung wala, the residence of the executor or the administrator. And the last, kung sakali, non-resident alien siya, wala siyang local residence dito, mag-file po tayo sa RDO 39, Quezon City. And the rate is still 6%. Pero just in case na yung tax due computed is less than the minimum amount, you will pay the minimum payment of 5,000. So yun yung benefit and you will reap all the benefits na binanggit ko kanina by paying the said amount. Diba? It's either 6% or 5,000, whichever is higher. Okay. And the last reminder that I'm going to give you is, of course, the removal of the 5-year validity period of the receipts and invoices, especially for yung mga developers, real estate lessors, and real estate agents, di ba? Yung mga property dealers natin dyan. So natanggal na po yung 5-year validity of your receipts. So perpetual na po yung mga receipts. Just make sure na hindi siya nag-expire prior to the effectivity of this regulation, di ba? So ang effectivity date natin is July 16. So make sure na hindi nag-expire yan. So yung mga hindi nag-expire prior to that, perpetual na po, natanggal na po yung expiration. Pero ibang usapan pag nag-expire prior to the effectivity of the said regulation. Kung nag-expire, kailangan magpa-print ng bago. Just in case late na, kasi you were given, I think, 30 days before or 60 days actually prior to application of the new authority to print, dapat nagawa nyo na po ng paraan yan kasi may penalty pag late. Okay? So balikan po natin yung resibo natin, baka expire na, and communicate with us just in case for us to be able to help you process it. Okay? And of course, so that ends our first part. Okay, so it's already 11:24. Ayan, so before I end, okay, let me just share one of my favorite quotes, no, regarding taxes. Let's read it aloud. Okay, so taxes are part of our world and will always be part of our lives. So instead of complaining about them or hoping for our legislators to make them fairer, let's simply understand them and put them to good use in our lives. On that final note, that concludes my presentation. So thank you for listening, and I had a great time sharing ideas with you. God bless everyone.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Andres Visares, for a very comprehensive presentation. Muntik na akong walang matanong kasi walang nagsumulat dun sa chat box. I only had one question in the chat box, which I answered it already. Kasi they were asking about when does a purchase made payable 90 days, you have to pay the VAT. Simple lang ang answer doon. And which have been experienced by a lot of developers. The simple answer is you have to payment the VAT when you recognize it as a liability. It is not on the date of the delivery. Kung order ka at ni-recognize mo na you have a payable, VAT is due already immediately. Okay, so yun lang ang nandoon sa
Thank you, sir.
back. But as the moderator, so I have some questions, and most of these are basically clarification lang. Okay, so number one question. This is related to the problem of a lot of broker right now. And this is regarding AMLA compliance. We have been hearing a problem that AMLA, since broker are now covered individuals, medyo malabo yung kanilang explanation kasi I think it is very clear. What was in the law that was eventually approved, covered transaction is a single transaction that is paid in cash on the day of transaction. Pero some of the AMLA people are still insisting that 7.5 million transactions, not only including cash, but include other form of currencies, which is not, I think, the intent of the law. So I'd just like to make a clear question. Is it correct to say that it is only cash transaction up to 7.5 million on a day that will be considered as a covered transaction, and not, for example, gumawa ka ng MC, nag-issue ka ng cheque, those transactions should not be covered by AMLA.
So actually, this is a concern of our collection department, no? So sa amin kasi sa assessment, so we are only concerned about the filing and payment. So when it comes to AMLA siguro, I think we can refer your concern, sir, to our collection division or collection service to address your concern about AMLA related issues, no?
Okay, anyway, siguro after that one, we would like to request a clear parang circular to clarify that particular issue.
Okay, sir.
Okay? Okay, second question. Yung sinabi nyo may mga exempted, no? Kasi
Yes.
I remember if, for example, a property was inherited by the wife,
Okay.
I think that should not, kasi that is not what was discussed earlier as part of the exemption. Kasi under the family code, if I remember correctly, that property should only be, it should not be considered as a communal property.
Okay, so to answer that, sir, so let me check kung ano yung I just want to set the yung background, a quick background, no? Kung ano yung mga dapat nating intindihin when it comes to inherited property. So, since nabanggit niyo po yung family code, of course, yung effectivity August 3, 1988, no? You have to check kung ano, since dito sa Pilipinas hindi uso yung property relationship agreement, di po ba? So, ang ano ba yung property regime na mag-govern sa atin kung sakali walang property agreement prior to marriage? So, before the effectivity of the family code, so ang mag-govern po tayo, ang property regime that will govern us is the conjugal partnership of gains. Okay? So ibig sabihin, conjugal partnership of gains, and then kung kinasal ka naman from August 3, 1988 and onwards, the property regime that will govern you is absolute community property. So anong difference ang dalawa? So prior to marriage, kung kinasal ka prior to the effectivity of the family code, since conjugal partnership of gains ang sumasakop sa iyo, lahat ng individual properties prior to marriage are exclusive. Okay? So only the fruits of those properties are considered conjugal. Now, that will be our basis in the settlement. Kaya kung say for example, ang exclusive property ng decedent ang pinag-uusapan, definitely that will be subject to tax in full pag nilipat yung property doon sa surviving spouse. Now, when it comes to marriages na officiated from the effectivity of the family code, ang mag-govern na sa kanila is absolute community properties. So, ang simple rule dyan is, all properties brought to the marriage are considered conjugal already, and all properties acquired during marriage are all conjugal too. So, ano na lamang ang magiging exclusive niya kung sakali kinasal ka from the effectivity of the family code, all properties acquired gratuitously during marriage, yun na lamang po ang magiging exclusive property natin. So ito yung mga mana at dinonate specifically doon sa one of the spouses. Di po ba? Yun yung simple rule natin. Now, when it comes to the settlement of estate, okay, so nakadepende po kung ano yung classification ng property. Kung exclusive property siya, it will be taxable in full. Pero kung absolute community or conjugal property naman yung subject na property, half of it will be subject to estate tax. Kalahati lamang, the fact na communal or conjugal property yung subject property natin.
Okay, thank you. I think that clears a lot of issues kasi maraming buyer, yan ang mga question. Okay, now third question. Yung tungkol dun sa, if you only have one property that you rented out,
okay,
do you still also have to pay, do you consider that as an ordinary asset?
okay.
Kasi meron doon classification that you should be habitually engaged in business of more than 6 transactions. Paano kung
Okay.
isa lang yung property mo?
Okay, so if you can recall yung quick guide na binanggit ko kanina, sir. So una, para ma-classify siya na ordinary asset, okay, so held for sale ba yan? So originally intended for sale ba yung property? Pangalawa, held for use in business. And the third guide na sinabi ko kanina, if you are engaged in real estate business. So ano ba yung sinasabi ng batas na real estate business? Tatlo lamang po ang dapat nating tandaan. Una, real estate lessor, property dealer, and real estate developer. Kaya since yung binanggit mong property is used in business or pinapaupahan, being rented out talaga, then the classification of the property is still ordinary. Now, when it comes to the other consequence of being classified as ordinary, Okay? So, depende po yun kung ano ang registration ninyo. Kung VAT or non-VAT ka, that will all depend. Kaya kung VAT taxpayer ka na, of course, there's a VAT consequence for that. Okay? Pero kung non-VAT ka naman, wala pa naman. Okay? Kasi ang effectivity, kahit say for example, binenta mo more than the 3 million threshold, but this is the first time na nag-exceed ka dun sa threshold, ang effectivity man naman ng VAT mo is the following month after the said transaction. Thank you.
So, ibig sabihin, if you have one property for lease only, and it is less than 3 million, it's better to register as a non-VAT na lang.
Okay, ganito sir. Now, another criteria no to answer your question kasi dalawa ang classification ng property. Meron tayong commercial and residential.
Okay.
Okay? So pag commercial 'yan at VAT registered ka, may VAT talaga siya. Pero
Okay.
kung commercial 'yan pero non-VAT registered ka, pwede kang mag-register as non-VAT. Next, another issue. Paano kung residential yan? Kung residential yan, meron tayong tinatawag na VAT threshold for rental residential properties. Diba?
Which is
And
3
currently,
million.
hindi sir. Meron tayong per unit threshold niyan. Okay?
Okay.
So, I think it's now pegged to 18,000 per month.
Okay.
Okay? The moment na mag-exceed ka yan on a per unit basis, okay? So kung less than that, exempt ka from business tax. Pero kung nag-exceed ka, only those units exceeding the threshold per unit is subject to business tax. And the moment na yung total na nag-exceed sa threshold per unit ay umabot na sa 3 million or more, or it already exceeds the 3 million threshold, that's the only time na masasubject po tayo sa VAT.
Okay. Oh, thank you, boss. Maliwanag na. Now,
Okay, thank you, sir.
on the second topic, isa lang ang question ko. Paano
Okay.
kung wala kang bank account? How can you file yung e-pay?
Okay, so we have for the online, if you opt for the online platform, so there are 3 accounts talaga na binanggit ko kanina. We have the Land Bank, UBPay, and DBP, no? So it's mandatory na mag-create tayo ng account for that. Okay? So kasi online platform nga kasi nakalink po yung bank account natin doon. Now just in case na wala tayong bank account, so ano ang remedy natin? So you can always go back to the old way of paying it, yung online, ay yung over the counter doon sa banks na. Okay? And also through the RCO. When it comes to real properties naman, ina-accommodate namin yung mga revenue collection officers. It's just that I need to remind everyone na pag sa RCO or sa BIR kayo magbayad ng one-time transaction taxes, okay, ganito po ang rule natin dyan. So for cash transactions, ang limit namin is 20,000. So I suggest you need to pay it through checks. Okay? So magbayad po tayo either MC or manager's check o kaya yung corporate checks. Pwede, wala pong limit pag check ang binayad doon sa BIR office. So just in case nakakaroon kayo ng problem, okay, you can always resort to our manual platforms. Okay? So for the meantime, of course, ang nire-require ng banko before you can pay online, you need to set up an account with them first. Okay? Kasi yun po ang ililink natin for the payment of your taxes. Sir,
Sir Bansa, nakamute ka.
In relation to that, no? Is it true that the office only accept payment by MC? Can you pay it by a company check or by a personal check?
Yes, sir. That is allowed.
Allowed pala yun, ha?
Yes po.
Okay, so I don't really need to go to the bank to get a MC to pay.
Yeah, that is allowed, sir. No problem. Just follow the rules in accomplishing or filling out the checks to be issued kasi meron tayong standard format. But for the filing, for the deadline of the annual income tax return, okay, kahit wala pong FAO under the Bureau of Internal Revenue, di ba, yung pay niya, pay to the order of Bureau of Internal Revenue. If you are paying the annual income tax, kahit Bureau of Internal Revenue lamang po ang ilagay. Pero if you are paying other taxes aside from your annual income tax, okay, meron po tayong standard format which you can download it anytime doon sa or you can Google it. So, meron po tayong standard format doon, yung BIR, Bureau of Internal Revenue, FAO or for the account of, yung ganyan, and then the name of banks, kung sino yung issuing bank natin, and of course the TIN. But if you are paying your annual income tax, I need to reiterate, kahit Bureau of Internal Revenue lamang po ang nakalagay, tatanggapin po ng bangko. And also, the BIR offices. Thank you.
Okay, sir, last 2 questions na, boss. Yung capital gains tax exemption, no? I think we'd like to clarify lang kasi I think according to 7279, what is exempted on the socialized housing does not only involve NHA project. As long as it is a registered socialized housing project, capital gains tax is exempted.
Yeah, that's correct, sir. Kasi kasama po, I forgot to mention kanina, doon yung low-cost housing. So basta accredited yan, na low-cost housing siya and nag-comply siya dun sa price ceiling natin and other special laws related to it, then you can still avail of the exemption. No problem.
Okay, so last question na, boss. I think you did not mention about the new circular that was issued sometime March 2023 regarding allowing additional 15 days after you e-file the submission, the amended attachment. Yung mga attachment.
Yes, yes.
Kasi medyo naghabol kami nung malapit na mag-deadline. Yung pala, there was a circular that was issued. I think it is also good for other filers to know, di ba, na there was an additional time given to them to submit the physical attachment like the audited financial statements and the other documents.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yun lang.
Actually,
Baka, pero as a general, I think would like to thank you very much for a very comprehensive and as discussed yesterday, if there will be any more questions that any people wanted to ask, they can send it to Enrea for Enrea to compile it and send it to your good office for clarification or for recommendation.
Okay, sir.
Okay?
Always.
So, thank you ng marami. Binsan, dalawin ho namin kayo sa office nyo.
Okay, sir. Thank you. You're always welcome.
Okay? Sige. Thank you,
Thank you so
Madam
much.
Chair.
Thank you so much to our speaker and to our moderator, Sir Bansancho. So we proceed to the sponsors to thank our sponsors for this business forum.
Naghahanap ka ba ng pest control at quality services na magbibigay proteksyon sa iyong property investment laban sa mapanirang daga, ipis, anay at lamok? Mapicon Pest Control, the best and pioneer pest control in the country at certified ng ISO. Gamit ng mas safe and effective solutions laban sa termites na sumisira ng haligi, cabinet, pinto at kisame. Available only from the nation's largest and leader in pest control. Contact now for a sales-free survey and estimate.
First Park Homes was formed from the partnership between Century Properties Group and Mitsubishi Corporation, having that goal to raise the standards of community housing in the Philippines without costing too much. Unlike other housing communities, First Park Homes is actually what they call the 4Cs. It's the brand pillars which they follow. It stands for complete, conceptive, connected, and convenient. Oh, complete because their homes are fully finished, which means the walls are painted, you got your complete flooring. This place is secure and you got provisions to expand. Basically, all you need are your furniture and you're ready to move in. How easy is that? Conceptive because First offers amenities which go beyond the basic. Get this. First Park Homes was formed from the partnership between Century Properties Group and Mitsubishi Corporation, having that goal to raise the standards of community housing in the Philippines without costing too much. Unlike other housing communities, First Park Homes is actually what they call the 4Cs. It's the brand pillars which they follow. It stands for complete, conceptive, connected, and convenient. Oh, complete because their homes are fully finished, which means the walls are painted, you got your complete flooring. This place is secure and you got provisions to expand. Basically, all you need are your furniture and you're ready to move in. How easy is that? Conceptive because First offers amenities which go beyond the basic. Get this. For every subdivision, there is a specific theme for the amenities which can be enjoyed by both young and young at heart. They have amenities that promote the arts, encourage good health, build social development, and strengthen the community. Like for example, in Bulacan, they have these life-sized board games. In Lipa, they have traditional Pinoy games, and they even have an outdoor cinema. I think it's really amazing that they're introducing unique amenities for families to enjoy. First aims to keep everyone connected to life essentials. Imagine, they even have a shuttle to bring you to nearby transport hubs. Now that is hassle-free. Lastly, convenient. Owning your first home is now easy through First's simplified buying process. Owning a First Park home is more than just an investment. It's your first home that lasts.
Okay, so it's really indeed a very, very beautiful day. We have learned, or we have been shared by crash course from the Bureau's programs. And that was indeed a clear and concise and driven and proactive, comprehensive delivery of the program of the Bureau. Through, of course, by our esteemed speaker, Sir Andres B. Bizares, the Chief of Assessment Section of RDO 30 of the Bureau of Internal Revenue. So for the presentation of certificates, a certificate of recognition, appreciation for our speaker, the National Real Estate Association Incorporated, the one-stop trade organization, confers the certificate of appreciation to our speaker, Mr. Andres B. Bizares, the Chief of Assessment Section, RD 30 of the Bureau of Internal Revenue. In sincere appreciation of your invaluable service to the association, particularly as a special guest and resources speaker during the NREA Business Forum Online, Elevating Real Estate Taxpayers' Experience on April 19, 2023 via Zoom and NREA Philippines Facebook Live. Signed by our board chair lady, Ms. Imelda Magtoto, our chair emerita and chair lady of the Board of Advisors, Congresswoman Marisa Del Mar, and our national president, Ms. Ruth Marie Chenza, and our Secretary General, Ms. Nicole Ann Marie L. Choa. Sir Dre, maraming salamat po in behalf of everybody who are watching with us right now from the entire Philippines and the rest of the world. Sir, thank you so much, and we hope to have you again back to our programs.
Welcome.
Oh, and of course, we this topic is never be most very beneficial to our listeners and our professionals, our listeners. Okay, we also would like to extend this many thanks to our assisting staff of the Bureau of Internal Revenue, the National Real Estate Association Incorporated, the one-stop trade organization, confers the certificate of appreciation to Ms. Floridette A. Cuales, the Chief of Assessment Performance Monitoring Division of the Bureau of Internal Revenue. In sincere appreciation of your invaluable service to the association, particularly as assisting a special guest and the resource of our resource speaker during the NREA Business Forum Online entitled Elevating Real Estate Taxpayers Experience on April 19, 2023 via Zoom and NREA Philippines Facebook Live. Signed by our board chair lady, Ma'am Imelda C. Magtoto, our chair emerita and chair lady board of advisors, Congresswoman Marisa Del Mar, and our national president, Ms. Ruth Marie Atienza, and also our Secretary General, Ms. Nicole Ann Marie Choa. This activity has never been so successful, of course, as facilitated by our moderator. We also confer the certificate of appreciation to our board of advisor of the National Real Estate Association, the ESHDA and the OSHTAP, under the chairman of Shural Equities Incorporated, and I remit to Sir Bansan C. Choa. In sincere appreciation of your invaluable service to the association, particularly as moderator during the NREA Business Forum Online, Elevating Real Estate Taxpayers Experience on April 19, 2023 via Zoom and NREA Philippines Facebook Live. Signed by our board chair lady, Imelda C. Magtoto, our chair emerita and chair lady of the board of advisors, Congresswoman Marisa Del Mar, and also by our national president, Ms. Ruth Marie Atienza, and our Secretary General, Nicole Ann Marie L. Choa. Sir Bansan, maraming salamat din po.
Maraming salamat sa inyo.
Thank you.
I think it is a very nice presentation today by Sir Andres. I think a lot of questions have been clarified. So kagaya ng sabi ko nga kanina, if there are more questions from our members, please send it to NREA so that it can be properly clarified. Thank you, Sir Andres. And thank you also to the Secretariat and all of those that handled this particular event.
Thank you, sir, so much. Thank you. Okay, so in the practice of our profession and in whatever that we have our dealings with the government, with our businesses, for example, all of us, all of these are just privileges. This is not right. So it therefore goes with rights and responsibilities towards the engagement of this. Everything that we enjoy in this government. So we know for a fact that our taxation, no? This is the government's lifeblood. So we have our corresponding responsibility to respond into it. So we should know that we have to give back to our government so that it can also be beneficial to everybody. Okay, so for the closing remarks, we have our board chair lady, Ma'am Imelda C. Magtoto, to give the closing remarks and other announcements.
Thank you, Trustee Alma. Good morning, everyone. As a real estate practitioners and developers, we are required by law to comply with all the requirements relative to the practice of real estate. We have to pay taxes during the course of our transactions. Property taxation has a significant revenue potential for developing and emerging Asian countries such as the Philippines. BIR initiatives in the digitalization of key transactions and the use of technology will promote efficiency and encourage timely payment of tax obligations. So we would like to thank our BIR guest and speaker, Mr. Andres Visares, and that Dedet Cuales, Moderator Bansan Choa, also a CPA, real estate consultant, appraiser, broker, banker, and advisor of NREA, SHEDA, and OSHDAP, our NREA officers, members, chapters, secretariat, and our friends in the real estate profession and industry. We would also like you to attend and in our NREA Golf Tournament on May 30 at Wakwak Golf and Country Club, Mandaluyong City, and our NREA and DSUD National Convention on June 1 and 2 at Makati Sports Club, Makati. See you all. More power. God bless. Mabuhay and cheers.
Okay, thank you so much to our board chair, Lady Ma'am May C. Magtoto. Thank you again to our speaker, Sir Dre, and to our moderator, Sir Bansan, and to the rest of the national officers, chapter officers and members. Thank you so much. We end this program with a photo ops. Please turn on your camera for our photo opportunity as we end. Okay, Secretariat, take it over.
Okay, ready. Slide number 1. And slide number 2. Okay na po. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. God bless everyone, and see you again next month.
Yes,
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.